So this could be a restart. Pulled from the shelves, a copy of Astounding Science Fiction, which I've been delving into. These were a gift from Dave Brzeski, who got them from an Easter con. Looks like originally belonged to Edward and Columba James, who must have been very young science fiction fans in 1958. Just love this cover painting. So all of this equipment with shiny lights and whirling tapes and so on, and a sign saying system failure, all of that is a computer. And then there's a sort of pensive looking guy holding a soldering iron, and it's called Thinking Machine. See, it's a thinking machine, but he's doing the thinking too. And it's not illustrating a particular story. It's possibly illustrating the editorial, which is a very sciencey and statistic-filled article about systems theory, which is the sort of thing you got then, because it was science fiction. Is fiction for people who are interested in science, which is, has a very sort of engineering feel to it. But you got a Murray Leinster story, The Grandfather's War. You got an advert for the Rosicrucians. Other stories, bit of comedy stuff from Randall Garrett. Science article by Isaac Asimov, and they're serializing Citizen of the Galaxy by Robert Heinlein, which I remember enjoying as a youngster. And you also get another advert, not just the Rosicrucians. See if you can guess who's advertising their wares here. How do you know you haven't been in space opera? How do you know you aren't a crashed saucer jockey? Who are you anyway? Send to an address for your copy of History of Man by L. Ron Hubbard. Yeah, don't do that. Top magazine, unless you want to. From February. This is what from a February of past times. You might be wondering, as an ardent enthusiast for sort of trashy books and for the whole Garbaugust thing, why I haven't mentioned the forthcoming Wasted Weekend, the Garbaugust 2.5 midpoint celebration of, read trashy books over a weekend. The reason I've not done that or come up with any sort of TBR for it is I don't know if I'll be able to do it, because the hand-in date for my dissertation is like the Monday after that weekend. So several things could happen. Either I'll manage to complete it early, I've got nothing left to do, or possibly I will create my own time-shifted weekend in the middle of the following week, or just not do it. We'll see. So that's why I'm not tempting fate by saying I'm going to read this, and this, because I just don't know. What else did we say we'd do in this? We said we'd discuss a random British thing. One thing on the list was Babycham. So Babycham is a British cultural icon. It is. At a basic level, it's a drink. It used to be referred to as champagne perry. Perry is like pear cider, and it's an alcoholic drink. So it's cider is alcoholic in Britain. Perry is the pear version of cider. It can be very nice. I remember from my all the perry pear drinking days died off. Oh yeah. There's less of it because you need special. Because there's not a crop. Special. It's like you need special apples for cider. Cider. Maybe the Babycham people have had it all. Anyway, they can't call it champagne perry anymore. They call it sparkling perry. So. It. Oh yeah, still. Yeah, I nearly bought some. Then I thought, what are we going to do with it? We don't drink. I know. Well, we could clean the loo. But the thing is, it's more than just a drink. It's a whole, It's a lifestyle. It's got the Bambi-like figure on the label, which is a lovely little kitsch image. There are these champagne type glasses. Obviously, they are something people like to have who like kitsch and sort of nostalgic stuff. But it's not just that; it's sort of life stage, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I drank
probably more of a female
drank
drink.
a lot of Babycham in me 20s. You'd sometimes go into a pub and they'd have the big cardboard cutout thing, big, huge, of the Bambi creature, the little deer, and a glass.
Oh, the little deer.
The little deer, yeah. The glasses were great because they had like a transfer of the little deer on them.
Nice.
And then you could mix it with things.
Sounds a bit perilous. Perilous. Sorry.
Mix it with Guinness, and it was called Poor Man's Black Velvet.
Sounds reasonable.
Mix it with brandy, which was lovely and deadly, and it was called a knickerdropper.
Okay, get the children out of the room. Would you actually say, barman, I'd like a knicker? No, right.
No,
you'd say, I could have a brandy and Babycham, please.
Brandy and Babycham, please. And the barman would go, oh, you mean it?
Yeah, right.
Sometime in the early 70s, they bought out a green Babycham type drink called Lotus.
Oh my God.
Which never quite caught on, which meant you could pick up quite large quantities of the because they were little bottles, weren't they? They were the size of
Stop miming.
I know, I can't.
Little bottles?
They weren't tiny bottles.
No.
They were probably 6 inches tall.
Crocodile.
They were like old Schweppes tonic bottles and that kind of thing.
Lotus, fake Babycham.
Meant you could pick it up quite cheaply. And my boyfriend of the time and his friend Freddie.
I don't like how this is going.
Bought a load. We went. This is great. We had such a great time. We went to see.
I've
told you this story.
Have you? Oh well.
We went to see a play of Dracula at the Hippodrome in Birmingham. And on a Saturday evening, there weren't very many people in the house. And it was that, what was that actor who had like the moustache and the...
Yes.
Well, he was Dracula.
The Department S bloke, the Jason King dude. Yeah.
He played Dracula. And it had some lovely touches in it, like they had a wire across the stage that occasionally a bat would fly across, which was hilarious. But coming back to the Lotus, Freddie, one of his party tricks was to open bottles with the metal tops on with his teeth.
Yep.
So we sat there watching this hilariously bad production of Dracula and necking. I think they bought 24 bottles of Lotus, and the three of us just sat there necking this bloody Lotus. And every so often you'd hear that Freddie opening another one with his teeth. So yeah, happy times. But I got phased out. It didn't catch on.
No. Babycham is the great survivor of kitsch. Who drinks it now? I don't know. It's a bit of like, better get some of that because Granny likes it at Christmas.
Mix it with Advocaat at Christmas and it's called a snowball.
Oh, Advocaat. I thought that was just lemonade. Good.
At Christmas.
So it's a sort of kitsch, again, a bit like woodpecker cider, as mentioned in one of Jenny's poems. It's a little bit of a gateway to adulthood drink, I would say. Now it's become part of this nostalgia. And they tried to get men to drink it with an advertising campaign in the early 90s. I'd love a Babycham. Yeah, there's a guy in a bar.
Yeah.
Who... like a wimpy looking guy who orders a Babycham, but the bar's like full of like bikers and scary looking people. And this guy like orders a Babycham, and then the big tough guys who are like 8 feet tall, like, yeah, I'd like a Babycham. Hey, I'd like a Babycham.
Because the Babycham.
That's enough Babycham for one week.
In my time.
To finish, a random piece of Victoriana, looking at the Ali Sloper's half holiday for this week, early February in 1894. I see that Ali is doing his Ali Sloper interviews a famous person, which this week was a person called Vita. Vita, who was a dancer. She came to London with something called the Kuta Kuta dance that had come from the Chicago World's Fair. And that was often mentioned in the publicity. Not mentioned, surprisingly, is the fact that it had been banned in several cities in America. So this Kuta Kuta dance and Vita, and apparently there was a sort of another dancer who was a man dressed as Mephistopheles or sort of devil was part of it as well. And nobody knew who he was. Sometimes he'd be billed as the unknown.
I bet they drank brandy and Babycham.
So this dance was like all the rage. It ran for a while at one theatre. It moved to another theatre. It toured the country. And then Vita was last seen heading towards South Africa, where apparently she was going to take more serio-comic roles. The rest is unknown. So thanks for watching. Might be back. We'll probably be back with the Sherlock Holmes video next time I get in front of the camera. I think I've actually turned the camera on this time as well. Anyone who watched the shambolic one. Good. Well, we've got 2 videos out of that. It'll look like I'm still on BookTube.
Yeah.
We'll maintain the illusion.
I knew that's what happened.
Okay. So this is the sort of thing I'm doing while I'm not doing BookTube. I'm finishing off my master's thesis. So a bit of this. And I'm trying to hand it in the next couple of weeks. Which sounds like it should be super stressful, but I actually find this stage of something like the least stressful part, because there's no options, you know. I can't change what I'm doing. All I can do is buckle down and do as much of it as I can, and it will be as good as it is. So it's like the old saying, when the tailgate drops, the bullshit stops. Yes. Talking of Groundhog Day, we went to Punxsutawney once. We saw, not on the right days, but we saw Punxsutawney Phil, the groundhog, in his year-round accommodation behind a library. And in fact, there's 2 of them. There's like Punxsutawney Phil and a kind of designated survivor. Yes, that's a thing we did once. Okay. Back to work. I've got me mascot here, Mr. Miracle, super escape artist, and a picture of my dad graduating in the 60s in some nice brutalist architecture of Brighton Polytechnic. But no more distractions.